So the best advice I can give people on that is have a little something, or at least have a way out.
We're not going to drift with the
I'm
box.
not a cop. I'm just the insurance guy.
Just don't hit the pole in the middle of the parking lot. It'll be good.
All right.
All right, guys. Hey, we're back. It's the first episode of the It's Your Neighbor podcast 2024. I'm here with my co-host, Anthony Alvarado.
What's up?
Anthony's back. Just had a baby.
Yeah, man. Aiden Austin Alvarado is 2 months old just last week.
AAA.
Oh, my gosh. I have AAA. He has AAA. It's amazing.
Hey, we got an insurance guy here today,
Unbelievable.
too.
Unbelievable.
I do not represent AAA.
Yes. That's actually a great transition. So
For
who else
sure.
do we have in the studio?
Yeah, so we have my guy, Ryan Chambers. Ryan and I go way back, childhood, like probably you're younger than me, but like first, second grade-ish.
Yep.
Something
Absolutely.
like that. So long time is, Dad's been the village president forever, and we both grew up in the town. Ryan, thanks for coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Yeah. So who are you here? Who are you representing?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Yep. I'm representing my agency here, THZ Insurance Group.
Yep.
Awesome.
So we are locally based here. Our main base is out of Seymour.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an Appleton office on the north side of Appleton. And then we just opened up our newest one about a year and a half ago out of Pulaski.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you guys, the company as a whole, you've been around for quite some time.
1929.
So 80 years or
Going
something
on
like
100. Yeah, pretty close.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty close.
Quite a bit more then.
Yeah.
No, did I hear that right? You're actually a part owner now of it as well?
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Myself and my partner, Mike Zahn.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how long have you been with the company?
I have been with these guys for 7 years.
Awesome. Awesome. And tell us a little bit about what THZ is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably about a lot like what you guys are about, local community and stuff like that, taking care of the people around here. Almost all of our business is in Northeast Wisconsin. So we're an independent insurance agent doing all lines. So the houses and cars, businesses, farms, crop insurance. We added a benefits division here within the last year or two, taking care of individual and group health and life insurance and the Medicare products and things like that. So not a giant place by any means, but we're going to be able to offer all the same services and stuff that the big guys can.
Yeah, and that's outstanding. And I can speak, on behalf of Ryan, and I'm a client of his for, I don't know, a long time. I think my first house was insured by you wherever you were before that. So, he's been my guy for 20-ish years now. So, love working with him. He's always responsive, communicates well, all of those different things. But how did you, I don't even know if I know this, but how did you get into insurance?
Yep. So I've always been in some kind of financial field. I started in banking in high school,
Right. Yep.
Transitioned from banking into auto finance. I ran the finance department for a couple of large dealerships in the area.
That's right. He was friends with my ex-girlfriend over at the bank.
Nice.
Terry. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing up her name.
Thanks for bringing the name up. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cut.
So that was a fairly natural transition, doing lending on the cars and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then through a buyout from a big local dealer that I didn't feel like working for anymore, I decided that it was time to make a move out of that and went over into the insurance space and been doing that ever since.
Awesome. And there's something to be said about, going out on your own.
Yep.
We're experiencing that
First
right
6
now.
months.
I mean, first 7 months almost now.
Almost 7
On the
months,
19th will be our 7-month anniversary, I guess we'll call it. But, it's crazy. And to see, what Ryan's been able to do, he's always professional and dedicated to his clients and all of those different things. And then, again, he said it earlier, is he's driven a lot like us, maybe in a different way. Obviously, we have houses in real estate, and he deals with saving them, really, or saving people on the backside of it, which is cool. So, as examples of possibly the. Maybe you want to take this one, but I just had a brain fart. So
that's right.
I'm going to go with that. It happens. It's live. It happens.
Well, one of the things that I liked, I was checking out the website just earlier today, and it was saying something along the lines like, hey, we are like a big brand, but we act small local, right? And so can you tell me a little bit more about what is that community approach? Because we have a community approach, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit with expanding our services and offerings and things like that. We can really help out with any of the things the big guys can help out with. But if you call somebody at any of our numbers, you're going to get one of a dozen of us. You're not calling out of state or an outsourced place to some big national outfit. You're still getting us.
Right.
we're going out and seeing people. I'm in the office probably 8 hours a week because I'm out with my clients visiting with people. We know they're busy. They're not going to have time to come see us. So we still have that personal touch to go see them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, every time I call him, he's driving.
Yeah, I put on a lot of miles.
Yeah, he does.
Not on my feet enough.
Now, are you guys doing anything? Obviously, you work in the community, you serve the community. Are you guys doing anything in the community that's maybe unique to the insurance industry, other than the fact that you're like what we just talked about, like the bigger but small?
Absolutely. We get very involved in kind of whatever we can. We've had local little fundraisers where we'll have things as simple as a brat fry or something like that outside one of our offices. We do try to get involved with the community events and things going on, not just through the insurance. We do the coverage for a lot of the local events. Over at Pulaski, we're doing Polka Days. We do a lot of the county fairs. We do Mile of Music in Appleton, things like that. Through either working with them as a client, also donations and things like that. So whether that's just monetary donations or if we can donate our time to help them out with things. People like to have golf outings and stuff. We'll donate hole-in-one sponsorships for that. So if somebody hits a hole-in-one, they get $10,000. Well, basically what happens is we just buy an insurance policy for that. Cool. And we'll take care of that. So
it's good for when we want to do a golf outing.
Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Absolutely. Call me. Call Aaron.
Don't call me.
I just want to hear your voice, Ryan.
Right. That's it. So we do like doing that stuff. These are the people that help us out and help us succeed and pay our bills.
Exactly.
We want to return the favor.
So what are some of the causes that you are passionate about personally? I mean, I know I have a nonprofit, for example. We focus on mental health, and it's amazing. I've been doing that for 10 years, and we got a chance to talk about it when you first got in here. What are some of the groups that THZ likes to support?
Absolutely. Well, one of the ones was one that I was involved in for years, and that's the fire department over in Pulaski. I was a member of that fire department for about 12 years until I moved out of the service area here a year or two ago. We do quite a bit with them, but we're also going to do stuff with the local chamber of commerces, things like that. We also work with a number of nonprofits out of the valley, a place called Apricity.
I know
if
Apricity.
you're familiar with them a little bit.
So it's basically it creates opportunities for those that had substance use issues that are in recovery. And Apricity, that whole team over there, I have a close working relationship with them. They provide job opportunities.
They really do. Yep,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Especially for entry-level positions and those that might have a little bit of a challenge finding a job after maybe getting in a little bit of trouble or just having difficulties within their recovery.
Absolutely. Second chance type of thing. And that's cool that you know about it. We've been involved with that for quite some time. The kind of list goes on and on with that stuff, but we're always open for new ventures with that too, looking to help new places out.
Awesome.
A lot of our carriers as well that we work with have funds set aside for that stuff where they'll say, hey, kind of nominate somebody. Tell us who your favorite nonprofit is. And they might have a little something they'll kick in. We'll typically match that as well.
Sweet.
That's cool.
Sweet.
I'm looking forward to collabing with you on some of our events coming up too. We got some cool stuff that we got in the works for 2024. It'd be
Big Fall Fest is coming up here, concert. I mean, you name it.
Yeah, and you've been supportive of a couple of the things that we've done so far. And Ryan's on our moving truck.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos, but I've been trying to give you guys some love.
I did. I loved it. And I saw it when I pulled in today.
Yeah,
you got to scrape off the snow.
Yeah, we'll get it out. We'll get it out and running a little bit and around town. Right. Rob, we'll make Rob go do something fun with it.
Yeah, right on.
We'll do that.
We're gonna whip it around.
I was
going to
say you could have been doing some donuts in the parking lot yesterday with it.
Maybe we can drift with it a little bit. Get a box truck on the side.
Just don't hit it.
You know our insurance guy.
Exactly. He's like, please don't hit it. Oh, we didn't talk about this.
We did not talk about this. I'm like, wait a minute.
We're not going to drift with it.
I'm not a cop. I'm just the insurance guy.
Just don't hit the pole in the middle of the parking lot. It'll be good. Yeah, for sure. So what are some switching gears a little bit? I mean, obviously we always like to talk about all the wins and all the good things, but what's the difficult part about your job right now?
There's a lot difficult right now, kind of more than ever. There's a ton of change in the industry. A lot of these companies have been getting hit pretty hard over the last probably 5 out of the last 6 or 7 years. They've got hit pretty hard. And it's kind of been the perfect storm of stuff with and I'll kind of go through the list, but I'll back up a little bit. If you guys have noticed, there's a lot of companies domiciled out of the Midwest here, centrally located out of the Midwest.
Sure.
Think of some of the regionals and super regionals and stuff like that, West Bend and Auto Owners and Secura and Acuity.
Right.
The list kind of goes on and on. they were domiciled here because this was kind of their safety zone, right?
Sure.
We're not getting earthquakes. We're not getting hurricanes. Well, Krana got an earthquake the other day, but
yeah.
wasn't a big one.
Knocked over a lawn chair or something, right?
I saw that we will rebuild.
Yeah.
But, obviously there's weather events here like anywhere else. But if you get something as devastating as a tornado, that's usually pretty localized. It's not affecting an entire coastline like a hurricane will.
So you're saying like AmFam and those guys, that's why they're here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because this was kind of a safe spot to be, right?
Right.
That switched a lot. So, and I'm no meteorologist, but they talk about the weather pattern switching and stuff. And when I look at our claims frequency, there's some that's justified. So it's not just the tornado stuff. There's been devastating straight line wind stuff, both in Wisconsin. Iowa is the bigger
smashed,
one.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Iowa's gotten hit. I don't think up until a couple of years ago anybody heard the term derecho before, if I'm saying that right.
Derecho.
Derecho. There you go.
Derecho.
Whatever it is,
cool.
It's not good for insurance
It does sound cool, but it's badass.
It's a bad thing.
It's badass. It's like this big hook that just like, it's called a bow. They used to call it a bow echo on the radar, but it's just this big bow that basically goes, it's a huge long, I think it's like, it has to be 150 miles long or something like that. And it's just straight line winds that are behind it. It's like a
spearhead.
Almost, right? Almost,
yeah.
And if that's coming at your roof, it doesn't matter if it's a straight line wind or a swirling tornado wind, it's going to damage it, right? So there's been a lot more claims than there had been before. You double that with the increased cost of construction here, which you guys are more than familiar with. They weren't accounting for how much this was going to cost them on the home side. Autos has been another big thing.
Okay. How so?
So the cost for that stuff is obviously up quite a bit too. Look at buying a new car. Same thing if you're going to fix it.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at double what it used to cost
like
to
I said,
fix it.
Work in the aftermarket industry, prices just went up.
Absolutely,
right?
And the frequency of accidents are going up. People won't put down their phones and keep hitting each other. Everybody's so happy. I get rear-ended and. There, my ship just came in. So they're kind of right. They're kind of getting hit from all the angles there. The other one that people don't understand a lot is reinsurance. So the biggest insurance companies in the world you never heard of because they don't sell to you and I. They sell to these insurance companies.
Okay,
and that is to limit their exposure a little bit. If you got a catastrophic storm come through, insurance company's going to be on the hook for so many $1 million, and then the reinsurance kicks in. So their reinsurance premiums, which is a huge part of their budget, those have more than doubled for a lot of these companies over the course of the last couple of years. And the insurance company's retention limit, meaning how much they're responsible for, has gone up substantially. So I sat at a carrier meeting here a couple of months ago where they said our retention limit was $10 million per storm. It's now $30 million per storm.
Okay.
So you got storms, couple of them a summer, winter, or whatever. Well, there's an extra $30 million a crack each time. It's going to make some big differences. So premiums are going up. Companies are shifting their focuses. Secura, like I mentioned before, one of our favorite carriers. We do a lot with them. They're right out of Appleton. They made the decision to totally exit the personal lines market. So they're not doing house insurance anymore. They're not doing car insurance anymore, starting in 2025. Right. So that leaves us with a book of business where we go, hey, we got to move this.
I'm going to be switching insurance companies.
Yeah. Are you secure? Because we're going to have to switch you.
I think so.
So we've got our team working on moving that. So people that were busy enough before just got extra busy because of all the changes in the industry.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I don't see that slowing down for a while here.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, is obviously the more storms and higher impact storms. Although Wisconsin didn't hardly get any last year, which was great.
Wisconsin was tame. Yeah. There was a big hail event over in like the Rice Lake area that caused a ton of damage, but locally here, it was a very good year for us.
So what's some advice you can, as realtors in a real estate company, what are some advice that I can pass on to maybe help them? One, obviously, other than give them your name, but
sure, that's step one.
Yeah, step one is just call Ryan. But to make their home even a little bit more insurable, or I know there's umbrella policies and there's other things out there. But what's somebody that going into somebody's house that they can do right now that will prevent something from catastrophic happening?
Sure, absolutely. Big one, it would be backup alarms on sump pumps, things like that. We do see a lot of claims come from water sewer backup claims. If there's an alarm, better yet, if there's some kind of battery backup or an automatic generator or something like that, there's a lot of technology for stuff like that. More than kind of prepping your house would be prepping yourself for what you might have to take on that you wouldn't have had to before.
So like a bunker in the back with supplies, is that what you're saying?
That'd be good,
Storage unit, you got it all ready to go.
Roofs has been the big hot button. We were talking about with the windstorms and things like that. So roofs were the one thing in insurance where you could kind of win. So the whole point of insurance is to kind of get you back to where you were before whatever happened to happen, right? You could have a 20-year-old roof and a hailstorm comes through a few years ago, you pay your $1,000 deductible, you get a brand new 30-year roof.
Once in a 30-year storm, and you're good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go, right? You're praying for the hailstorm or the windstorm. And I think a lot of these companies were replacing things when maybe they didn't need to be replaced. But the cost of that stuff wasn't as bad at the time, and whatever. Well, it's caught up to them. So with those increased claims and increased cost and things like that, they've got to make themselves still profitable, make their investors happy. So they're going, what can we do? And most of them are changing the loss settlement on the roof. And they're saying, okay, it's not going to be after so many years old, it's not going to be a replacement cost anymore. It's going to be an actual cash value. So we're going to depreciate it down. If you're 20
some sort of ratio.
Yeah, you're 20 years into a 30-year shingle, do the math. And they've got a chart, but you can get yourself close on there. Not everybody's going to be prepared for that. You might be going, hey, I'm going to have to put a roof on in 5 or 10 years. And it's kind of in the back of your head. But now you might have to put a roof on next month if a storm comes through. So the best advice I can give people on that is have a little something, or at least have a way out. If you got a little equity, get yourself established a line of credit, something like that, because it might not look exactly like it did before.
On the personal note, I know, like my fiance, I just got engaged last year too.
Good for you, man. You got all kinds of stuff
going on. I'm just like checking off all the boxes.
If you need more kids, I got an extra couple I could rent out.
Just rent them out. I might need some babies.
He's offered me that a few times too.
I got 4 of them, so
it's cheap too. I don't understand. The rent rates are really low on that. But
so you do life insurance?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yep.
For somebody that doesn't have life insurance right now, if I wanted to start, let's say this year, what is some advice?
Yeah, well, I guess the most important thing I could tell you is for life insurance is it's not for you. It's for who's ever left, right? Whatever happens, you don't want to stick them in a spot.
And having the baby is really pushing me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I have a daughter, so
Absolutely. So for you're going to have to take some things into account where you go, hey, God forbid something happened, I'm not here anymore. What am I going to need to leave? And they've got all kinds of calculators and different things like that where you can enter in your numbers. If you buy everything based off those calculators, you're going to need a $70 million life policy because they overestimate all this stuff. You got to make it affordable and you got to make it real, but you got to realize, hey, now maybe my wife or fiance might incur some other bills where, maybe we're going to have some childcare expenses that I wouldn't have had before. And what about kids for education? Do I need to set anything like that aside?
Or going from a double income to a single income.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really just to pay off your obligations, but to kind of figure out some of that other stuff. What are they going to need for continued income? Yep. Absolutely. Now, when you flip to the child, that's obviously the absolute last thing any parent wants to think of is their child not being around. Absolutely. Unfortunately, it does happen. And the last thing you're going to want to think about at that time is insurance. Holy man, how am I going to pay this $15,000 or $20,000 funeral bill? Right?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so cheap to get a child a life policy. You can buy them a whole life policy for $1 a month, and it's there for them. And then if they want to continue that on. When they're, if you want to continue to pay for it forever, awesome. If you want to have them take over when they're 18 or 20 or 25, or when you want to have them take over, they can. If they get to that point in their life and go, hey, that's great that I have that life policy, but I could really use some money right now, and they want to cash it out, there's cash value in there.
There's no taxes on that, right?
No, because it was all paid with post-tax dollars.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's a nice part, too. We'll see that sometimes where kind of my tie-in through banking before is maybe grandma and grandpa have $10,000 in a CD that they just keep rolling over every year. And at the time they were making nothing. Now you can make a few percent on them, whatever. And you go, hey, what's that for? And they go, well, that's for my grandchild when I pass away. And you go, okay, is there any, are you ever going to need that? Nope, I've got that set aside. I'm never going to need anything else. Well, take that money that you had in that CD, buy a paid up life policy with it. You make one payment. So maybe for $10,000, depending on age and everything else, but maybe you can get a $18,000 paid up life policy. So now when you die, they're going to get $18,000 instead of $10,000. And since it's coming out of life insurance proceeds, it's not taxable. So there's some things you can do that are smart with that, but I would absolutely recommend anybody talking to somebody about life insurance.
You can use that money sometimes to buy real estate.
Yeah, and because
absolutely.
You can kind of, I've seen other influencers and musicians and athletes use basically that policy to create some wealth and some investment opportunities, as well. Or savings at least.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of different avenues you can take with it. One thing we have not added to our agency is any kind of financial advisory arm. Who knows if we do that one day? I'm not sure. If it does get into the point of using it as an investment tool, then I'll typically refer them over to their financial advisor. Even though we've got the capability to do that, I don't know your whole financial picture. So I'm not going to be able to help you out like they are. Just like if I'd ask that you not buy your car insurance from your Edward Jones guy. So stick with what you're good at.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
For sure. That's awesome. That's really good advice. Now let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Like, what's your side hustles? What do you like to do in the free time? Who's Ryan outside of
free time? I drive all the time.
Yeah, my free time.
Driving.
My free time is less than what it used to be. But no, family stuff. Love family. Like I said, I've got 2 kids of my own, and then I got remarried here a couple of years ago, and got 2 more. My wife Nikki's wonderful. I made her stop doing hairstyling, which she loved, and come work for us instead because we.
You did get her to work for you.
Nikki's been working for us for about a year and a half. She does tremendous. Cool. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, that's a big jump too.
It really is. And she's
they tie together, right?
Yeah. She doesn't have much time to do. I mean, she did trim my beard last night.
You don't give her a lot of practice, really.
She still does that out of the house a little bit, so that's nice.
Good.
But that takes up a lot of time. But I spend as much time as I can with outdoor stuff, hunting, fishing. That's been a huge part of my life, going up to my cabin and stuff like that. That's
cabin life. Let's go.
Absolutely. I'll spend as much time out in a tree stand or a boat as I can.
For sure.
So one thing that we do here is we talk about gratitude every single week because, we're just grateful to be here doing what we're doing. So we always like to ask our guests, what are you grateful for this year?
That's a heck of a question. And I think it's the thing that I'm probably grateful for just about every year. Obviously, family, friends, close connections, things like that. It's been, over the years, it's been a huge support system for my business and growing and things like that. And I've told other people the story that I didn't realize that I had been kind of ramping up for this my entire life. But when you live in a little town, like I said, up until a couple of years ago, I lived in Pulaski for my entire life, 40 years. And everybody there. How that goes. Unfortunately, you can't make a trip to the grocery store without taking an hour because you're going to get stopped by everybody and talk to them.
Shout out to Super Ron's.
Absolutely. Brian Ulmer. But that has been tremendously helpful. It takes all the rapport building out of it when you're going and talking with prospects and things like that. They already know you. They know what you're about, things like that. But on a continuing basis, it's going to be the family and the friends, the coworkers, your health, things like
People
that.
Keep us up.
I don't look healthy, but I am. So
you look great. You got the beard going. Remember?
Thanks, buddy. It's been great, and I'm thankful for you guys right now bringing me in on something like this. The opportunities that you have to kind of highlight us and help each other out and stuff like that. You talked about the moving van before, things like that. That's awesome. It's cool to see what these kids you grew up with and messed around with and played football with and screwed around with, what they're doing now. It's neat.
Well, it's just taking care of, everybody in the community, right? Like, you almost get into a point where you get into this idea of creating your own economy. And so if you can support everybody in the right way, and those people take care of their business and you take care of your business, well, then it's an easy referral cycle, and the cream will rise to the top every single time. You'll still have some stragglers in there every now and then, but the cream always rises to the top, and we can see that effect already taking place with what we've done just in, less than 7 months, really being in the spot that we're in is pretty awesome. And it's just that ideology. It's not anything that like isn't, to me, it's like common sense, but for a lot of businesses, they see green before they see people. Yeah. And I'm always talking about people first, and the economy will be created within the network that you build. And so that's the cool part about all of what we're doing. And I love supporting you because, we grew up together, and I know you're really good at what you do, and you're trustworthy, you're honest. Sometimes you tell me stuff I don't want to hear. And but you have a good way. In insurance, that's part of his job a lot of times, and if I call him up, he's going to help me if he can. Yeah. But, there's times where he just goes, sorry, dude, this doesn't work. And, damn it. Right. I can't be mad at him. It's just what it is. So
he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, all right. So we like to switch gears at this point. Yep. We let you become the host. And you ask us questions.
Remember when I asked you if I was supposed to prepare some things here?
This is right from the heart.
I like to make it. I like to not have anybody who comes on the podcast. I give you very little prep work.
Yeah,
there's none because it's more genuine. Otherwise, it's canned and scripted and whatever. So
all good.
That's why I screwed up before, and I didn't even know what I was saying. I just blanked. You
guys filled me in briefly when I first got here before we started doing the podcast on kind of how you got together, and I'd like to hear more of that. On all of a sudden, you got a whole team of people that you might have been working with for a long time, but most of them I haven't talked to before. Things like that, and you go, "Holy man, what a cool place! Huge office filled with everybody that seems to be extremely happy to be here." Tell me a little bit about that and how you guys came together and the different areas you came out of and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it started with just my vision of doing something different. I noticed all the real estate brokerages and agents, and it was all kind of the same. And to me, it was like, how can you separate yourself if everybody's exactly the same? And then I go back to the people part, right? Like, you get to a point in a real estate brokerage where broker behavior becomes this I guess the way to look at it is, if you're a real estate agent, you're a 1099 contractor, right? So similar to probably maybe what you guys have. Sure. I don't know if you have W-2 agents,
most of our people are W-2, but you definitely do run into 1099.
Yeah, you got 1099, right? So in real estate, the standard is agents are a 1099. So I started getting to this point where it was like, I work for this agent, or I work for this brokerage, or I work for this brokerage, and I work for this brokerage. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. You're paying a commission to the broker when you go out and do a work. And at first, the broker's more involved, or they should be more involved with training and everything else. That's where they earn their money. But the reality is like, the broker should be working for the agent because the agent is paying them out of their commission. So that mindset alone was like, okay, we're all looking at this the wrong way. And people will say, oh, I work for this person. But no, you're your own business owner. You're your own small business within a business. Right. And so I wanted to take that approach. The unique thing is, you said, I don't know if anybody's worked here a long time, but the one thing that was really interesting, we lost the camera. Time out.
Fortunately, it's Anthony and not the main guest. Right?
Exactly. Good.
All good.
Thank you for making me feel small. No.
That's going in the bloopers. That one is still recording. Well, they both are now. So anyway, we had a glitch in the camera here. But so back to the interesting part was that you had mentioned how long we'd known each other. Everybody that works here, I have known less than 3 years, I think.
That's crazy.
So maybe Rob might be the longest person that I've known. I think right around the same time I met Matt and Jackie.
Cool.
I haven't known Matt and Jackie very long either. So, but it's weird because once you start getting your morals, your ethics, your vision, and everybody else is in line, you start finding people that are just coming on board. 2 weeks ago, we had 8 people that worked here, and now we have 15.
Wow.
So whatever we're doing is working. We're attracting talent. I had somebody else message me this morning that said she wanted to come over, and actually I offered her the job after Rob turned me down the first time. And then I sweet-talked Rob back into it. I'm glad I did. But she turned me down because she had already been with one startup that didn't work. So, I think it's just how we get to know each other is just Rob was hugely instrumental in getting Anthony. And then Anthony's been big as part of our brand management and everything else, and that's starting to catch wildfire. So I don't know where we're going to be. I mean, if this all happened in 2 weeks,
that's hard to keep up with.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not too many times. Like for me, I've been involved in projects over the years, and I'm relatively young, but I've been doing marketing for 15 years. I'm working in the community for 12. Been leading a lot in nonprofit space and community outreach. So a giant network of people in the Northeast Wisconsin area and beyond. And I actually, for me, it was kind of what I think is happening here is there's people that are looking for opportunity to do something that is purposeful and passionate. And the people that are coming to the table are the ones that are really excited about doing something different. And that's what caught my attention. I originally applied just to be a photographer, to help out in real estate photography because I was already doing my nonprofit. I was already doing photos. I speak full time. I've been doing that for 10 years. I just dropped a mini book. Like I have enough things going on.
Yeah, sounds
right?
like it.
And so for me, I was like, okay, though, my nonprofit's 10 years old. I'm looking to kind of pass the reins off to the next group of young leaders, which is really exciting this year. But in that, I knew I would look for the next opportunity. And so when I applied and I came in just to talk about photography, it became so much more because this company, Take Action, is about so much more. They're about community. They're about empowering not just agents, but this entire community that we're a part of, including our partners, and really creating somewhere special to live. And so for me, it was like, oh, so you are talking about not just selling homes. You're talking about building community. And that's what I've been doing for 15 years. And so I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, and we looked at his resume and we're like, and Rob and I were both like, I don't know if we can afford this guy, but we need him.
Yeah.
Like we're like, he's hired. We just like, we had a lot of like pretty decent applicants. We had some that didn't work out. And so we ended up hiring an actual photographer at the time and Anthony. And it just didn't work out with the photographer. We're still back to square one with that, sort of. We're working towards. Well, Anthony, he's on it now. So
yeah. We got some people coming in next week.
Yep.
Yeah, we let him go with it. But it's just like giving people the freedom, like all of the things that you hear that people want in a workplace. We're trying to provide that. Now we can't provide them like health insurance or anything like that yet because we're still very new. Every single one of us that came over here took a leap of faith. We all took pay cuts and everything else. Like I was making a ton of money last year, and I just have a bigger belief in what we're doing. And my pay is significantly lower, like more than half lower than it was by coming over here. But it's about growth, and it's about I know it's working. I know it'll pay off in the long run, and so that's why that's how we got to this point. And to answer the question of how everybody's here.
That's universe stuff right there.
Yeah.
Really, it is.
There's like some weird energy that's happening around us.
Awesome.
It's contagious.
It's really
it's special and contagious, and we're just bringing the right people in.
That's awesome. And obviously, you guys sell houses. That's the point of it. But I heard almost nothing about that with all the excitement in the whole conversation so far with what you guys are doing and your team and everything that you got going on around you. It's very selfless. It's very cool what you guys got going on.
In reality, the house is the Robin died again.
Hey, Robin died again.
All right, so we're back. We've had some technical difficulties here, but so Ryan had just brought up, so it's about we haven't really talked about houses, and I think the reason why is everybody has to live in a house, right? So you're dealing with one or two or up to, sometimes 10, 11, 12 people in one house. And so if you're not taking care of the people, there's that issue of not capturing the right thing, because a home becomes a house when somebody moves out. A house becomes a home when somebody moves in, and it's the people that are affected by it, and that's why it changes. So that's why we do that.
That's an awesome way of looking at it. Absolutely. So for you guys kind of asked current market stuff in my industry, current market stuff in your industry, and I guess you go ahead because you might answer a couple of questions I got before I even ask them.
Perfect. Let's go. Yeah. So current market obviously fluctuates with interest rates, and you people out there are saying the market is hard right now, and that's, to me, it's just an excuse. Like there's opportunity for people to buy and sell. The one thing I will say is, like, in the history of houses being built, the cost of living and the cost of a house has never gone down for more than a very short period of time. So you hear a lot of people talk about this bubble, and if there's a bubble, it's going to be a very short period of time. And if you're trying to time it, you're making a huge mistake. So the one thing you can kind of do is project when interest rates are going to get lower and other things like that. So I would say this: buy now if you are looking to buy. One, like there's a little bit more inventory now and a lot less buyers, so you're not competing, you're not driving prices up or doing anything like that. Secondly, realize home prices aren't going to go down. Right. Interest rates probably will, but home prices won't. But once interest rates go down, home prices are going to skyrocket again. And so I just don't think there's ever going to be a bubble, especially with the amount of housing crisis that we have and affordable housing. So if you're going to buy, try to buy. It's always buy now. I mean, every agent's going to tell you that, sure. Right? But at the end of the day, that's the reality. Home prices don't go down unless somebody ruins the house, and that's where I get into house flipping and all that other stuff.
Absolutely. And tell me, I could be wrong as an outsider as I'm looking at this, but I'd like to think I got a little better idea of it just with the finance background and stuff like that.
Finance background, you have to insure houses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you talk to people and they go, yeah, I'm going to wait for that drop. That drop's coming. And I think a lot of people are thinking 2008, right?
Yep.
The way I look at it as not informed like you, but a little better informed is 2008 was a different scenario.
Yep.
So 2008, obviously the economy went to hell.
Yeah.
Nothing
well, that
good,
was also a lender behavior issue.
I was going to say you had a lot of non-qualified buyers. So a monkey on a leash could get a mortgage in 2008.
Yep.
I remember that at that time I was working for the dealership.
Yep.
And somebody come in to get a car loan and, they're up 560 credit score. And I'd go, you had 18% interest. And they go, well, I just got a house loan, 2 months ago at 5%.
Yep.
I'm not sure why they did that. We've got our own issues here with this economy, but I don't see people walking away from houses, which is what caused that big drop before. Do you?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, what happened was we had, obviously, I would hope only a once-in-a-lifetime situation for us with COVID, right? So COVID happened, 2019 was more of that normal market. Rates were pretty low in the 4s. And then COVID, right? So people sat at home. They didn't. Unemployment, obviously skyrocketed. There was a whole bunch of other factors, and interest rates plummeted. So one of two things happened. It was really easy to be a real estate agent in 2020, 2021, which grateful for me because I was still a noob. So it was like I got my feet wet then. But the biggest thing that happened was either everybody refinanced or bought at that time on a super low interest rate. So then what happened now is in 2022, midsummer, rates went into the 7s,
right?
And then that froze everything up. And so there wasn't the transactions going on to move the economy in the way that it is. Now I think what's happening is rates are coming back down a little bit. My guess is they'll be in the 5s, maybe 4s by the end of the year. I don't know. I've heard multiple things. I'm not the person to talk to about that. It's just a guess.
Yep.
But if you're waiting till, again, what I just talked about, till the fall, you're going to end up bringing every single buyer back in. The other thing is human behavior is a huge factor now too, where now they've been in the house for 4 or 5 years. They're getting bored.
Right.
Like they want a new thing. They want to upgrade. Their family's getting bigger. People want to downsize. You're going to start seeing some more movement that way, I think. So I think just based on human behavior alone, and the fact that, people are now, people get divorced, people die. That's really the only way that houses were moving for a while. So now you're going to get back into more people wanting to move just because they want to move.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing. Or relocations, I guess, is the other besides, death and divorce. So
absolutely. Concerned people that a lot of people have right now is probably rents, and you go, well, what's the rent thing matter? I'm selling houses, but you know better than that. Rentals, as far as I can see, and I'm just looking when people are posted online, going, "Yep, I'm looking for this many bed, this many bath in this community, whatever." You never used to see that.
Right.
One, probably because social media wasn't so prevalent, but two, there was stuff to rent. It doesn't seem like there's much stuff to rent anymore. So to me, that would look pretty attractive as a purchaser of a rental property. Give me your thoughts on that, and I guess how much of what you're selling is for a rental or for an Airbnb versus somebody's home. Yeah,
I think I'm unique in the way that, I work with real estate investors, and I'm part of an investing group that has 1,300 investors. So, that one is a little bit different. Obviously, I would cater more, I tend to gear towards that one. I train people on how to be real estate investors too. The biggest issue again is just affordable living. And that comes down again to human behavior. If tenants took better care of their places, there would be more affordable places to rent. The problem is, and again, the reason why there's, you get into certain rentals and the cost is low, you attract the people that, that typically does. And it's, and that's not for everybody, of course. I'm not insulting every single person who can't afford, a rent under $1,000 or $500 or whatever.
Sure.
But in general, where you get the most damage are the ones that have the lowest rents. And the ROI isn't there. It's great for investors who need tax write-offs, but otherwise that's just not, where it's going to be. So we do have an affordable housing crisis. So if somebody can figure out how to build new units affordably and pass inspections and everything else and not do it cheap, do it right, but do it, affordably, then we're going to solve a lot of problems and you're going to get more movement there and people will be able to rent. So, I don't know if tiny homes is a solution or shipping container homes or things like that might be an option, something that certainly we're going to entertain as we grow. But I don't know the answer to that. And there's a lot more smarter people out there than I am who haven't figured it out yet either.
Absolutely. And there's a huge risk, like you were talking about. Unfortunately, that's going to correlate a little bit with the lower rent type of stuff usually. And that's not going to be for everybody.
You would know that too.
They might
as an
not be
insurance
taken
guy.
care of. I had one within the last few weeks. It would probably be a guy a good friend of mine, a good customer of mine that's got several different rentals. And one of them, he had rented out to the same people, so it'd probably be hard to see this coming. Small single-family home in a small, fairly local here community that he had rented out to the same folks for, I think, a few years.
Yeah.
Rent's always on time.
Yep.
Nothing going wrong there, not getting the calls saying fix this, fix that. You assume everything's good. All of a sudden, rent's not getting paid 1 month. Reaches out to him, finds out the daughter's living there, and the folks moved to California or something like that, and they're not coming back.
They're subleasing it out.
And she goes, well, first off, somebody has to pay this, right? Not paying, so we're going to start the eviction process. They go there, and the place is absolutely trashed. I think he told me they needed upwards of 20 dumpsters to take the stuff out of there.
Oh, my God.
There was over 20 animals there, cats, dogs, things like that. Obviously, eviction right now, cleanup starts.
That's going to go back on
unfortunately,
the
from an
parents
insurance
too, right?
company, and I think you may have ran into something
I ran into this too. Yeah,
that is deemed as hard living and not vandalism.
Yeah.
If it was a non-household resident or something like that, you could get coverage under vandalism with the right policy. Nobody covers hard living.
Yep.
So now this place has been sitting empty for months while they redo everything.
Yeah.
They finally think they got everything ready to go, and they had brought in exterminators for all the fleas from the animals.
Bed bugs.
Yeah, fleas from all the animals. Yeah. They're still there. So now they're going to start a 3-month process of redoing this. That's 3 more months that you're not pulling rent there. It's a gamble. And you know that better than anybody.
Yeah, it certainly is. So hopefully if anybody's listening to this and you're a bad tenant, don't be.
Yeah, don't be.
Cool, man. Well, hey, Ryan, thanks so much for coming in. What a good interview. This was fun. This is your first ever podcast.
It is.
And it was on camera. So
I appreciate you having me as part of it.
No, man, I love partnering with you, and obviously we're gonna continue to grow together and have some fun. So
right on.
But that was that. So
Hold on,
Anthony's back.
Oh, do you want me to twist back on?
All right, hey, what's up, guys? Just want to let you know, I appreciate you being on that.
Yeah, right on.
All right, thank you, man.
Take action.
Cool, man.